Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel in the first place. Today we have a Shinso X listener. It's Loving You is a Burden by Mushi_room on AO3. The link will be in the description, and let's go ahead and get into it. Fabric rustled in your ears, causing a sigh, if you could even call it that, to slip from your lips. It was hard to breathe. No, not because of asthma, though it too may have been a factor, but because of the flowers. The feeling of leaves tickling your lungs and petals scraping roughly against the base of your esophagus was rather uncomfortable, as many people would assume. People used to tell you high school was going to be an adventure, yet they never specified what kind of adventure it would turn out to be. The adults in the house always said it would be fun, except for the occasional bullies, but that was to be expected. Kids were mean, but no one ever said anything about this. And you decided this was not in your pay grade. You just wanted to have fun, hang out with your friends, and even learn shit to a degree. But this was never mentioned, not even by your health teacher. High school turned out to be a nightmare for you after the first year. There was no fun, no hanging out with friends, and just staying to yourself. So here you were, lying in your bed, surrounded by petals and leaves. There were a couple different types of each, but they had no certain meaning behind them. You had researched endlessly. They kinda just existed. You swung your legs over the edge of the bed, slowly dragging yourself to a sitting position. Glancing around the dimly lit room, you stood and headed towards the closet. Another day, another long, drawn-out day. You shuffled around, got dressed, and left the room, passing through the familiar room, passing by random objects, and finally passing through your doorway, not getting anything to eat on your way out. There was no point. The food wouldn't stay down. The flowers would push it out, after you had gotten just enough nutrients to sustain them. Your thoughts wandered to the start of it all. It had been a while since you got to curse the day things changed, when the first petal was coughed up. You and a couple friends had been watching the UA Sports Festival. Normally you wouldn't want to watch this, but one of your friends had a sibling in the competition. The festival ran out of seats, so you all just stayed in the comfort of your home and watched there. Disappointingly enough, their sibling didn't make it to the second stage. They were just behind the kid named Ioma Yuga, who had gotten 42nd place. Everyone was sad for them, but they were also intrigued with the rest of the battle. There were extremely strong people participating this year. The first place winner had managed to win without using his quirk, while the second and third place winners were neck and neck. Wanting to know who would win, you all continued to watch. You spaced out during the second stage, but the squealing of your friends brought your attention to the screen. Then you saw him, unruly indigo hair, deep purple eyes that glared into the screen, and a blank look across his face. His appearance startled you at first. At least that's what you thought it did at the moment. Your heart skipped a beat, and something pooled in your gut? Dread? You had pushed that out of your mind at the time, not really worried. Lots of people did that to you. In a world full of superpowers, there were bound to be people with unsettling or terrifying looks. But it didn't quite feel the same. It felt warm, and yet not unlike the feeling of being flustered. The screen went to his opponent, the green-haired boy who won the first challenge. You truly wanted to focus on the battle, but your vision would not waver from the boy, who you later found out was Shinso Hitoshi. The longer you stared at him, the more mesmerizing he got. He was gorgeous, tired eyes with bags under them, glinted with excitement, only for a moment, then to amazement as people congratulated him, even if he lost. Your heart wasn't working properly, and your breathing was low, shallow. You remembered that. That was the moment your life turned upside down. Your friends had noticed how intent that your stare was on the boy. They teased you endlessly as the battles went on, and finally the last one played out. That battle turned out to be a bit of a shit show. The explosion boy was pissed off about the half-and-half boy, and how he pretty much let him win. At least, that's how it seemed. Pretty admirable. He didn't have to be so harsh, though. You didn't see the very last part of the festival, since your friend needed to pick up their sibling. Everyone wanted to go with them, so you went along too. Upon getting there, many people were crowding the entrance, most likely leaving. It took a while to actually find their sibling. Once you found them, you patted them on the back. One person from your group spotted something and grabbed your face to make you look at it as well. Shinso Hitoshi. That's what your friend had seen. Shinso fucking Hitoshi. The others had seen him too and started to giggle, remembering your antic from before. They whispered to each other and finally nodded, seemingly agreeing with one another. They all looked at you and pushed you towards him. They pushed you right into him, snickered, and acted like nothing happened. The impact of your body into his caused him to tense and turn around. Your face burned. You threw your hands up in front of you and apologized multiple times. His face was one of confusion as he untensed. You took an unsteady breath as the first coherent words that popped into your mind left your lips. Hi, I just wanted to say that you did really well during the sports festival. I mean, even though you lost, you were really awesome and... Oh, I'm rambling. Anyway, I just really think you'll do a lot of good in this world. Your words preceded both of you. A violent blush erupted across your entire body, mostly noticeable in your face. He had stopped moving completely, not even blinking. Before anything else happened, your name was called. Taking this moment to escape, you ran. Your friends teased you once again as you left the area. That's how it started. Within a couple weeks, you had a nasty cough. It was put aside as a cold, till a single small petal flew from your throat. As you wrung your throat ragged, you had freaked out and talked to your guardian. They had dismissed you, saying it wasn't possible. Still freaking out, you ran to your phone and frantically searched the internet. Needless to say, you were terrified by the results. A light tap on your shoulder knocked you out of your thoughts. Startled, you checked your surroundings. It seemed you made it to your destination, the train station. Turning to graciously thank the person for letting you know, only to stop in your tracks. Purple, tired eyes bore into your own. This had to be a joke, some cruel joke, and yet here you were, staring into the eyes of Shinso Hitoshi. The shock on his face was almost the same as yours. It seems he recognizes you after all this time. Embarrassment crept through you, thinking about the last thing you said to him, the oh-so-cringy acknowledgement from a supposed fan. He went to speak, but you noticed your train pull up. You apologized and ran. You were finally able to catch your breath once you were standing on the train. You pushed past the slightly more crowded than usual train. You got to your normal spot, or as close as you could get. You bumped into a couple people on the way and mumbled out apologies. Another person pressed into you from behind as they situated themselves. A voice rang next to your ear. You know, it's not very nice to run from others when they try and talk to you, especially more than once. It was deep, raspy, and had your heart thumping impossibly hard against your ribcage. You hesitated to look at the owner of the voice, slowly turning your head to the side. Indigo hair filled your peripheral vision. How did he... I've been thinking about what you said after the sports festival. Oh no. He placed a hand on your waist and slowly turned you around to face him. Your eyes finally met his. The bags under them were darker than the last time you had seen them in the sports festival. His body, from what you could tell where he was pressed against you, was bigger, muscular since you were last pushed into him. His breath tickled your ear. It wasn't comfortable, but it wasn't unpleasant either. It almost reminded you of the feeling you had felt when you first saw him. I wanted to say this before, but then you ran off. Anyway, He was abruptly cut off. A cough racked your body, making you shudder and sputter. A hand slapped over your mouth, trying to muffle the cough. That only did so much. Thick, wet speck flew into your palm. For the first time, a whole flower followed the blood. This startled you. You had heard about this stage when you researched the supposed disease. It was almost time. You hid your fear and slowly removed your hand from your face, but not before clenching fingers around the soft petals and wiping the blood from your lips. Hiding the clenched hand behind your back, you looked at Shinso. He looked concerned but didn't say anything, letting you catch your breath. Your breathing finally steadied, and you whispered out an apology in a shaky voice. He nodded, telling you it was okay. He went to say something more, but the intercom announced your stop was coming up soon. You gave him a look while telling him this was your stop. He didn't say anything in return and just stuck his hands in his pockets. Disappointed, you moved to the doors as the train came to a stop. You felt another person bump into you. Looking back, you couldn't see anyone close enough to have touched you, and you also couldn't see Shinso. You got off the train. Not only was that a confusing encounter, but it was weird as well. You were irritated once everything settled in your brain. Why? Why him? Out of all of the people in the world, you just had to fall for him. If only you didn't watch the sports festival. If only your friends didn't squeal when he popped on screen. If only you didn't fall for him. Your life wouldn't have been so miserable. You wouldn't have to deal with this burden. You reached into your pocket for your phone, not really sure of how much time had passed. A crinkle caught your attention. You pulled your hand back out, grasping the object. You opened the small ripped piece of paper. It was a phone number. Alright, that's the end of this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, whatever. Goodbye!